Chapter 1 Sources of History. In this lesson, we are going to study the sources of medieval history. History gives us a chronological, scientific, and systematic account of past events. History must be based on authentic evidence or proofs. These proofs are known as the sources of history. These sources are classified into material sources, written sources, and oral sources. We have to consider many factors related to the historical event that we want to study. It is necessary to use these sources judiciously. Material sources. These include forts, monuments like samadhis, graves, virgala, coins, houses of common people. They all provide insights about that period. They also include memorials, buildings like palaces, cave sculptures, copper plates, and inscriptions. Looking at them, we come to know about the development of architecture, the economic conditions, and the people's standard of living in that particular period. The coins made by the different rulers using metals like gold, silver, copper are important sources of history. From these coins, we learn about the rulers, their period of governance, the type of governance, religious ideas, personal details, etc. From the images of Ram Sita on the coins of Emperor Akbar or Shiva Parvati on the coins of Hyder Ali, we see the religious coordination of those days. The Peshwas used the Arabic or Persian language on their coins. An inscription is considered to be a very important and reliable source of history. It helps us to understand features like the language, script, and the social life of a period. Chaityas, viharas, temples, churches, mosques, agyaris, dargahs, mukbaras, gurudwaras, sculptures, wells, minarets, weapons, utensils, ornaments, clothes, toys, implements, musical instruments are all material sources of history. Written sources. We learn about significant historical events in the medieval period from sources like the writing styles of scripts, varieties of different languages, bhurja patras, religious manuscripts, treatises, edicts, decrees, biographies, paintings, etc. We can gather information about the food items, attire, festivals, and about people's life, etc. from these sources. Sources of this type are called written sources of history. During this period, travelers from other countries came to India. Some of them are Al-Biruni, Ibn Battuta, Niccolao Manucci, Babur's biography, Sri Shiv Bharat, or the Sanskrit biography of Shivaji Maharaj composed by poet Paramanand, help us to understand the policies and administrative systems of the rulers and their diplomatic relations with others. Tawarikhs written by Al-Biruni, Ziauddin Barani, Maulana Ahmed, Yahya bin Ahmed, Mirza Haidar, Bhimsen Saxena are available. Bakhar is a type of chronicle that originated in Maharashtra. Chronicles help in understanding aspects like the contemporary political happenings, linguistic transactions, cultural life, social conditions, etc. Many of the chronicles are seen to rely on hearsays. Some of these chronicles are Mahika Vatichi Bakhar, Sabhasad Bakhar, Chitnisanchi Bakhar, Bhau Sahebachi Bakhar, etc. Oral sources. We understand various aspects of folk life through folk literature traditionally passed on from generation to generation. Some examples are ovis, folk songs, povadas, folk tales, legends, and myths. Such types of sources are called oral sources of history. They also include gathas, shlokas, abhangas, and proverbs. Evaluating the sources of history, we have to examine their authenticity and see which ones are genuine and which ones are fake. Their quality can be determined with the help of internal standards. We also need to consider the exaggerations, metaphors, and other literary devices they use. Their information has to be verified with the help of other contemporary sources. The author's impartiality and neutrality are very important in writing history.